How's it going, traders? It's Papa Wall Street back with another highly liquid stock market chart review. That was a lot to say. I was going to look at just the top tech names plus Goldman Sachs, a little joke from the last video. But of course, please, if you like these videos, if you find them helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Like this video if you can. And if you have some time, leave a comment down below. Would really, really be grateful if you did that. If you feel like I'm talking too slow, you can watch these videos at 1.5 speed. And of course, please keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. It's only for educational purposes only. So let's dig into the charts. Really, really good day for the markets today. Let's take a quick look at Apple. Been watching Apple. I'm going to move myself over. There we go. Let's move over there. All right. Apple 150 has been the key. We've been talking about 150 for a while. We bounced at 150 back in March. We broke through it here. We tried to regain it, lost. Tried to regain it these last few days, lost. Finally, we get that break over 150. We closed actually 151.21. So it wasn't even like 150 and 5 cents. It was $1.21 over 150. So put us right into that trade. Daily close over 150. These are the major levels that I'm going to be watching for probably the next couple of weeks. 153, 157, 160 are going to be my targets. We do have a 1618 extension at 154, 200% extension at 158, and then possibly we can see a move up to 163, 164 in time if the market continues to rally with this bear market rally. So that's a big if. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. So why did I say highly liquid? I like to day trade these names. I trade weekly and monthly contracts. I did take a couple of trades on Apple this week. And so these are, when I'm looking to day trade, I'm usually working on a 30-minute time frame just to find my levels that I want to trade, but also to look for patterns. You could see like this wedge breakout right here, beautiful breakout right through 143, sent us to 147.62. You can see how we bounced around 147.62 and 150 for a few days, a number of days. In fact, we almost have like a broadening formation here. Not quite on the bottom side here, but yeah, a nice broadening formation that could push us right to 153.44. So a couple of things to note. We do have a 30-minute squeeze. That's 5 dots fired off. What that generally means, I'm looking for 6 to 8 dots on a squeeze for whatever that time frame is. On the daily chart, it would be 6 to 8 days. 30-minute chart, it would be 6 to 8 30-minute candles. And so, yeah, we could see another couple of candles, but sometimes these extend. You could have almost 15 dots. It varies once you get over 6 to 8, but in general, I'm looking for 6 to 8 candles. So Apple looking pretty good. Definitely looking like a good close. Also, not even just a good close for Apple. I think a good close for the market. I think as Apple goes, so the market goes. Over 151.36, which was the June 1st highs, then we see a move to 153. Here is the star of the day, AMD. Monster trade on AMD. I took the 106Cs for near 300%. Of course, it didn't hold the entire trade to 300%. I do scale out on the way up. But no surprises where we closed. I called this out live on Spaces. Watch this downtrend line for a close right on it. We wicked through it. You generally see with these big move days, you generally see a wick through it because it wants to, the market and the market makers, they want to lure you into this trade and make you buy the top. This is for the breakout traders. And so, of course, we closed now right under it. What I'd like to see tomorrow is a gap up. I want to see a gap up near 110.63. Anything over 110, I think, would be pretty good. Then I think we see a move to 112. That's right where our swing high anchored VWAP is anchored to, right? Right there. We break through that, 114, 118 comes next. But I do think this is probably where we stop tomorrow unless we see a really strong day. Like Apple, this one has a 3-dot squeeze fired on the daily chart. So what does that mean? It means 6 to 8 days of potential upward movement. So this is only day 3. Those first 2 days moved down. Now we're moving up. So just keep a close eye on AMD. We'll take a quick look at the 30-minute chart. Again, we took the trade back through 102.56, right around here. And added some contracts on sold some contracts at 104, sold some more contracts at 106, sold the majority of my contracts over 107.68, held a couple of runners into 109.45, and then basically closed the rest of the trade out. This trade from 102.47 to here was 300% on the 106Cs. So it was a really, really good trade. Next up is Amazon. This is not one I usually trade, but of course I'll work on charts. And so we broke through another level, 24.72. I think the next big level is going to be 2600, and then we've got that gap up to 2751. So if Amazon can get over this 206.03, tomorrow could be a really insane day for Amazon. That would be a really big move, but let's see. It would be a 5% move to this to the target and to the gap, and then another 6% higher over that. So don't be surprised. We saw some big runners today. Watch out for Amazon tomorrow. Apologies on the beeping. I do live in Brooklyn, so people get a little froggy. For shorter term levels, 25.21, 26.11, as I mentioned. Let's go up to Crowd. Crowd, I believe, reported earnings today. We had a nice wick back up to 181, but it fell back quickly down to 168. We are holding right under this COVID low anchored VWAP. Let me turn on my moving averages here, the 200 and the 50. So we still have the 250 declining and above, but this is tradable up to those levels. Once we hit those levels, it's going to be a little more difficult. There's a new entry to my list. It's not new, but it's new for this particular list series that I'm doing. This is Datadog. Obviously got this wave count wrong, so I do have to update it. But let's anchor to our previous low, and you can see we pushed up right to the top of our 110 supply zone. Sorry, I was going to say demand zone. Demand zone. And then we have our supply zone up above, which would be right here between 127 and 147. You notice that there's a bit of a gap in between the supply and demand zones. And so if we can get over 110, tomorrow into next week, watch for a move up to 127. There's not that much volume here from this previous swing low move. And also, if we move our volume by price tool over to the prior high, let me grab that. There we go. You can see it even clearer here. So yeah, watch Datadog tomorrow over 102. I think, because they reported earnings today, or no, they didn't report earnings. So my apologies. I'm thinking of a CrowdStrike. This was their earnings right here. What I would normally do on earnings is drop an anchored VWAP, and you could see we blasted through that today. So what I would also do is drop another anchored VWAP up here. This is probably where the target eventually is going to be, 139. It might take a few weeks to get there if we continue to rally. But keep in mind, we did just go back into a squeeze here. So might see some consolidation off of this move on Datadog today. Looking at short-term targets, over 111.65, you can see 120.72, 129.79. Next up is Facebook. Sheryl Sanders did resign as CFO. And so we're watching to see what kind of reaction that has on Facebook. You can see I'm drawing out this wedge that's forming here. And so I'm going to want to keep a close eye on 200. I think that's going to be a key level. We could see a move up to 206 and potentially up to 216. 206, 216 next week, depending on where we are. That might be the trigger to break us over the wedge. I still like this over 200. I think there's a day trade over 200. There's possibly a swing trade over 200. And, what I would do is keep my stop losses under 180 for a swing. But the potential upside, 244, and you've got this massive gap back up here. So I think it'll take some time to get up to that level. But once we get up to that level, keep a close eye on the gap. I would watch for a big shoot higher on that. Next up is Google. Google, just another nice day. Look at that back test right on that 382 extension at 2262. We still have a declining 50 and 200 simple moving average. So again, when you're trading underneath these, I think the best you want to work for is, a move back up to that 50 simple moving average and wait for it to consolidate and then break higher. Once you break higher, then you just watch for a move between the 50 into the 200. If, depending on when this happens, if this 200 still declines, then, you might have some confluence to 2556 with the 50 and the 236 retracement right there. So just keep a close eye on those levels for Google. Next up is Goldman Sachs. We had a beautiful week trading this last week, and this week not so much. It has declined right back on its falling trend line. So what I would do is I would wait for back over 327. Probably even better to wait for back over 330, to be honest. You see the high here on May 27th was basically 330 on the button. So over 330, 340, 345, 350 would be my targets to the upside. Let's take a quick look at Microsoft. There was some news on Microsoft. I don't actually recall what the exact news was, but it wasn't great news. So you had this really wild intraday wick, but we did close towards the top of the range there. Let's look at the 30-minute chart. I'll take after hours off. So you could see that wicked gap down, and we just closed that gap. I mean, Microsoft just literally marched higher all the way and then closed over yesterday's close. So really strong move back higher on Microsoft. Taking a quick look at NVIDIA, had a very similar day to AMD. I did have this in a potential ABC retracement, caught a bottom off that. Over 183, we figured 200 was going to turn on as a magnet. That's exactly what happened. We're getting very close. 200 can come tomorrow. What I would watch for a break of a 200 tomorrow. I would look at the 205 Cs as a lotto play. Actually, I don't know about the chain. It could be 202.50s. You could also use that, or you could stay in the money. I don't think the contracts are going to be that expensive, but of course, only treat that as a lotto. Otherwise, you can go out to next week's 205 Cs. Just went into a one-dot squeeze, so that's looking pretty good here on NVIDIA. Watch this for a continuation tomorrow. And here's Tesla. Tesla had a pretty wild day. Let's go down to the 30-minute chart. Right here, this was our open. Our initial candle sent us over to 767. I think it suckered a lot of people in, and then, man, it just slammed you right back down. Really wicked trade, right back down to 733. We hit our, let me get the proper moving averages on here. We came into our 89 EMA. I always like when we come into that 89 EMA on the 30-minute chart in those intraday pullbacks. It generally acts as a springboard. It also works the other way around if it's above. But on this one, just a beautiful move over 733, and wow, what a move to 792. I didn't take any trades on this. I was actually fooled to the downside, but man, whoever caught this to the upside, congrats. That was a really, really great trade. So tomorrow, what I like about this, right now we held and we back tested 733.96. As long as we hold that level, I think 800 can come tomorrow. I think the 800 Cs can work as a lotto. And then over 800, 823 to the upside. There's probably some levels in between, but over 800, I think this really can start to move. So those are the stocks that I'm watching for tomorrow. They're always on my radar. I generally like to trade AMD, Apple, Tesla. Those are the charts that I feel like I know really, really well. I know the personalities of those stocks. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor, certainly not financial advice, but hopefully you've learned something from this video. And if you have, I would highly encourage you, please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you have a moment, please leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody tuning in every time I make these videos. I do appreciate you and I appreciate your time. So thank you, and I will catch you again in the markets and on the next video. Take care, everybody.